All right, everyone, buckle up, because the NFL offseason drama is heating up, and the story of Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys is currently at the center of it all. If you've been following the headlines, you know that Micah Parsons is not just any player. He's arguably one of the most explosive defensive talents in the entire league right now. We're talking about a guy who can single-handedly change the outcome of a game, a player who possesses rare athleticism, football IQ, and relentless motor. Parsons isn't just a linebacker who fills stat sheets. He's a game changer, a true disruptor, the kind of player whose presence forces opposing quarterbacks to alter their entire approach. And now, as the new NFL season looms ever closer, rumors are swirling that the Green Bay Packers may have placed a serious trade offer on the table for him. Yes, you heard that right. The Packers, a team that has been searching all offseason for a pass-rushing solution, are reportedly ready to make a move to acquire one of the league's most coveted defenders. Let's step back and consider the context here, because this isn't just a random rumor. Dallas, as an organization, has historically been willing to invest heavily in its stars, but for some reason, the negotiations with Parsons have dragged on. The Cowboys gave Dak Prescott a massive contract extension last offseason, turning him into the highest-paid quarterback in league history. They've also committed big money to CeeDee Lamb, securing their top offensive weapon. And yet, when it comes to Parsons, the process seems slow, almost frustratingly so. The question on everyone's mind is, why? Why hasn't Dallas moved aggressively to lock down one of the top defensive playmakers in football? Some speculate that Jerry Jones and his son, Stephen Jones, are playing the long game, trying to manage salary cap constraints. Others argue that this hesitation has created a narrative problem for the Cowboys. Brian Schottenheimer, a first-year head coach, is trying to establish his team's identity, and instead of focusing solely on football, the headlines are dominated by contract drama. It's the kind of situation that can test even the most experienced coaches and front office executives, because when speculation like this hits, it doesn't just affect the player. It impacts the entire locker room, the fans, and the media narrative surrounding the team. And that's where the Packers come into play. Green Bay, a team with a young roster that has been steadily improving, has recognized an opportunity. Their defensive line, while solid, hasn't been elite in generating consistent quarterback pressure. Last season, they had moments of brilliance, but overall, the unit lacked the firepower needed to dominate in the playoffs or contend at the highest level. Now, imagine adding Micah Parsons into that mix. You're instantly upgrading a defense, adding a player who can rush the passer, drop into coverage, and essentially change the trajectory of a game with a single play. Parsons would join a line that already features names like Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, and Lucas Van Ness. Suddenly, Green Bay transforms from a good defense into a potential nightmare for opposing quarterbacks, one capable of terrorizing offensive lines and forcing mistakes that can swing entire games. It's also worth noting that Parsons isn't just a physical specimen. He's smart. He reads offenses well, understands schemes, and can adjust on the fly. Pair that with Green Bay's coaching staff, who are known for developing defensive talent, and you have the potential for one of the most disruptive units in football. From a strategic standpoint, acquiring Parsons would make perfect sense. Teams across the league have seen the blueprint for how to beat elite quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. Pressure. You don't necessarily blitz your way to victory, but you generate relentless pass rush, force the quarterback off his rhythm, and create turnovers. Philadelphia, in their recent Super Bowl run, demonstrated this to perfection. Their defensive line generated pressure on virtually every play without over-relying on blitzes, showing that a combination of technique, speed, and sheer talent can be lethal. Green Bay could follow a similar formula, and Parsons would be the catalyst. Now, let's circle back to the Cowboys. If Dallas ultimately decides to keep Parsons, they have one of the most fearsome defensive rosters in football. But if he moves, the ramifications are huge. Green Bay would immediately rise in Super Bowl odds. The Cowboys would lose a cornerstone of their defense, and the NFC East race, which is already brutally competitive, would suddenly look very different. And for fans of the Philadelphia Eagles, All of this matters because they open the season against Dallas. If Parsons isn't in the lineup for that matchup, it changes the dynamics of a season opener entirely. If he is, it's a massive challenge, one that could define the early trajectory of the division and set the tone for playoff implications later on. While the Micah Parsons situation unfolds, the Eagles are generating some positive news of their own. Landon Dickerson, who suffered a knee injury in a recent open practice, is already back on the field. Reports indicate it was a meniscus injury, not an ACL or Achilles tear, which is certainly a relief. And here's the kicker. He's not just walking. He's performing what looks like a weighted carry, hauling a cooler after practice. This is huge because it shows that his recovery is progressing faster than initially feared, and there's a legitimate chance he could be ready for the season opener against the Cowboys. Having Dickerson back would stabilize one of the most critical positions on the Eagles' offensive line and give their offense a massive boost heading into a grueling schedule. Meanwhile, the conversation around Jalen Hers continues to grow, but not necessarily for the reasons casual fans might assume. Peyton Manning, widely regarded as one of the most cerebral quarterbacks of all time, has publicly expressed admiration for Hers. Manning praised his football IQ, his commitment to studying the game, and the way he proactively seeks to understand schemes and plays at a deep level. This isn't just about physical talent. Hers combines incredible athletic ability with a mind for football that rivals some of the greatest to ever play the game. And if Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and other elite minds see something special in Hers, that's a strong signal that this player is operating on a level far beyond public perception. Critics might dismiss him, but insiders see a player with the kind of skill set and intelligence that can sustain long-term success. So, here's the situation as it stands. The Packers are reportedly making a serious run at Parsons. The Cowboys are in limbo, and the Eagles are quietly receiving good news with Dickerson's recovery and Hers' continued development. All of these storylines intersect, creating a narrative that is as much about strategic roster building as it is about individual talent. The NFL isn't just about who wins or loses on Sundays. It's about front office decisions, contract negotiations, player development, and timing. Each move has ripple effects, influencing not only immediate performance, but also long-term team trajectory, salary cap management, and playoff implications. This is the kind of NFL offseason drama that reminds you why football is more than just a game. It's strategy, business, and psychology all wrapped together. Every decision, from a trade offer to a contract extension to player recovery timelines, can create cascading effects that alter the fate of a franchise. Micah Parsons, Landon Dickerson, Jalen Hers. These aren't just names. They're pivotal figures and narratives that will define the 2025 season. And as the preseason unfolds, every practice, every report, and every rumor becomes part of a bigger story. One where the stakes are high, the personalities are larger than life, and the drama is just beginning. The NFL is a chessboard, and every piece moves with intention. The question is, who will make the decisive move first? Will the Packers land Parsons and redefine the defensive landscape? Will Dallas finally resolve the drama and secure one of their most important players? Or will injuries, development timelines, and strategic maneuvering shake everything up in ways fans can't yet imagine? The answers to these questions are coming, and the storylines are only going to intensify as the season approaches. For now, the watchful eyes of fans, analysts, and insiders are glued to every update because the Micah Parsons saga is far from over, and it could very well reshape the NFL landscape before the first kickoff of the 2025 season. As we move deeper into the NFL offseason, it's becoming clear that the Micah Parsons saga is just the tip of the iceberg in a league that never sleeps. While Cowboys fans anxiously wait for clarity on the linebacker's future, the ripple effects of his potential departure extend far beyond Dallas, creating a narrative web that touches multiple franchises, star players, and even coaching philosophies. The beauty of this situation lies not just in the drama, but in the subtle intricacies that only the most die-hard football observers can truly appreciate. Every play Parsons has ever made, every sideline interview, every media soundbite suddenly takes on new meaning because the question isn't just will he stay. It's how will his next move shape the NFL landscape for the next decade. To understand the stakes, you have to examine Parsons' unique skill set. He's not just fast. He's a chess player disguised as a linebacker. His ability to read offensive schemes before they fully develop allows him to anticipate plays, disrupt timing, and force quarterbacks into mistakes before the pocket even collapses. Think about it. A player who can do all that doesn't just elevate the defense. He elevates the entire team's strategy. If Parsons stays in Dallas, the Cowboys' defensive coordinator can design schemes that leverage his speed, versatility, and instinctual playmaking. If he leaves, every plan, every adjustment made for the past 2 seasons essentially becomes obsolete. You have to rebuild. You have to rethink alignments, blitz packages, gap responsibilities. The defensive architecture shifts entirely. And that's why this isn't just a player contract issue. It's a structural question for the franchise's future. Meanwhile, the Packers' interest underscores a league-wide trend. Elite pass rushers are the most coveted commodities in football today. Look around the league. Every championship contender has one or more players capable of turning a game on a single snap. Aaron Donald in Los Angeles, Myles Garrett in Cleveland, Nick Bosa in San Francisco. These are players whose presence alone commands double teams, alters protection schemes, and gives their teams a competitive edge week in and week out. Parsons belongs in this conversation. And from a strategic standpoint, Green Bay is a perfect fit. They have a young quarterback in Jordan Love who could benefit from having a defense that consistently generates turnovers. They have an offensive system that doesn't require an immediate league-wide dominance because the defense can mask minor inefficiencies. Adding Parsons isn't just an upgrade, it's a statement. It tells every NFC North rival that the Packers are serious about contending and that they understand how to build a team capable of winning deep in January. But let's not overlook the human element here, because player decisions aren't made solely on contracts or schemes. Parsons is a competitive spirit, someone who thrives on challenges and craves the spotlight. Staying in Dallas would mean continuing in a city with high expectations, passionate fans, and media scrutiny that can border on relentless. It's a pressure cooker environment, but it's one he's proven capable of thriving in. Moving to Green Bay, however, represents a different kind of challenge, a transition to a new culture, a new coaching staff, and a new locker room dynamic. For a player of Parsons' caliber, these factors matter. How quickly can he build chemistry with new teammates? How does he adapt to a different defensive coordinator's philosophy? The physical talent is undeniable, but the mental adjustment is just as critical, and it's here where the story gets fascinating because it becomes a test of character as much as skill. Meanwhile, the Cowboys front office is facing its own pressures. Jerry Jones has built his career on calculated risks and bold moves, but he's also shown a willingness to let negotiations drag when he believes it's in the franchise's best interest. The balancing act is delicate. Overpaying Parsons could tie up cap space that might otherwise go to offensive reinforcements, young talent retention, or future free agents. Underpaying him risks losing one of the best defenders in football to a rival. The calculus is brutal because every decision has cascading effects across multiple seasons. And with the NFC East becoming increasingly competitive, with Washington, the Giants, and the Eagles all making strategic acquisitions, the margin for error is razor thin. Speaking of the Eagles, the storylines on their end are equally compelling. Landon Dickerson's accelerated recovery not only stabilizes their offensive line, but also signals a larger narrative about the team's depth, preparation, and medical efficiency. A player returning from a meniscus injury at full capacity within a shortened time frame speaks volumes about the organization's infrastructure and the individual's work ethic. When you combine Dickerson's return with Jalen Hers' ongoing development, the Eagles are quietly assembling a roster that could compete at an elite level while the Cowboys' Parsons drama dominates headlines. And this is the beauty of football. Often, the most significant stories aren't the ones plastered across every sports channel, but the ones quietly shaping the competitive balance behind scenes. The Parsons saga also evaluate risk versus reward. They could spend big on Parsons, but they'd gain an irreplaceable edge. For Dallas, Holding on to him means absorbing significant financial strain, but it preserves their defend strategic endeavor that touche field. Players notice when a teammate is embroiled in negotiations or trade rumors. The locker room dynamic shifts, even subtly, when a star player's future is uncertain. Leadership becomes crucial. Coaches have to maintain focus, instill confidence, and ensure that preparation doesn't slip amid media distractions. This is why franchises with consistent success aren't always the ones with the most talent, but the ones that manage human dynamics exceptionally well. The Cowboys are now facing a high-stakes test of that skill. Rumor has been swirling across Philadelphia that the Eagles may be on the verge of a significant roster shakeup, and the latest whispers suggest that Marcus Williams, the celebrated defensive back, could be joining the squad in a move that has fans buzzing with excitement. Sources close to the team have hinted at ongoing negotiations, though nothing has been officially confirmed, leaving the city in a state of speculative anticipation. Marcus Williams, known for his agility, ball-hawking skills, and leadership on the field, has long been a player whose presence can shift the dynamics of any defense he joins. The Eagles' defense has shown flashes of brilliance, but has struggled with consistency in recent seasons, and the potential arrival of Williams might represent the strategic boost the team's management has been seeking. Philadelphia sports bars and fan forums are already abuzz with discussions about how Williams could fit into the defensive schemes, how his coverage abilities might complement the current secondary, and how the morale of the locker room could shift with such an experienced player entering the fold. While insiders caution that negotiations in the NFL are notoriously fluid, the mere possibility of Williams donning the green and white has injected a sense of optimism into a fan base always hungry for championship contention. Social media has erupted with fan reactions, speculative breakdowns of his potential impact, and even mock lineups illustrating what a Williams-inclusive Eagles defense could look like. Reports suggest that Marcus Williams' potential move to the Eagles has not only ignited excitement among fans, but has also caused a ripple effect among sports analysts who are now reevaluating the team's defensive prospects for the upcoming season. Industry insiders speculate that Williams' track record of interceptions, pass deflections, and ability to read complex offensive schemes could be the missing piece in Philadelphia's pursuit of a more formidable and resilient defense. The buzz is intensified by the timing of these rumors, coinciding with the off-season free agent period when teams are often reshaping their rosters and making bold acquisitions. Conversations on sports talk radio have turned almost exclusively to the potential implications of this signing, with analysts debating whether Williams' integration into the Eagles' defensive backfield could inspire a new level of cohesion and strategic flexibility. Meanwhile, fans are analyzing past performances, recalling moments when Williams' clutch plays altered the outcomes of key games, and projecting how those skills might translate to the high-pressure environment of Philadelphia. While contract specifics remain undisclosed, insiders suggest that negotiations have been intensive, reflecting the high value both the player and team place on this potential alignment. The narrative surrounding Williams' possible signing has become a talking point not just locally but nationally, as pundits weigh the Eagles' chances of turning potential talent into tangible success on the field. Amid the growing speculation, Philadelphia's sports community is imagining how Marcus Williams could influence the culture and identity of the Eagles, transforming a secondary that has faced criticism for lapses in coverage and missed opportunities. The chatter hints that Williams' experience and veteran presence might not only strengthen the defensive lineup, but also serve as a mentor for younger players, guiding their development and enhancing overall team chemistry. Sources close to the Eagles' front office have reportedly expressed cautious optimism, emphasizing that while nothing is final, the team recognizes the strategic advantage of acquiring a player of Williams' caliber. Enthusiastic fans are flooding social media with graphics and highlight reels, illustrating what they perceive as a defensive renaissance should Williams join the Eagles, while sports blogs dissect his past performances against elite quarterbacks to assess how he might perform against the NFC East's toughest defensive threats. The rumor mill suggests that team practices, interviews, and potential preseason matchups could become pivotal in showcasing how Williams might integrate into defensive schemes, sparking even more discussion and speculation. Meanwhile, conversations about salary cap implications, trade possibilities, and long-term strategic planning are circulating among insiders, who point out that the potential signing might influence other moves within the league. Even rival teams are said to be watching closely, evaluating how the addition of Williams could shift the competitive balance in the conference and alter the tactical approaches of opposing offenses. Are the franchise's ongoing narrative? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.